Bible translations do matter. Now, I stick with the King James Bible. I believe it is that preserved and purified Word of God that he lays out in Psalm 12 verses 6 to 7. The grass fadeth, the flower withers, but the Word is preserved. Isaiah 40 verse 8. Now, how do I distinguish between different translations? Number one, does it make Jesus Christ a liar? In John 7 verse 8, he says he is not yet going to the feast. And in 2 verses later, he goes up to that feast. Now, most modern translations say he is not going to the feast, making him a liar. Now, this is a small example of many of the errors they make in their translations, in their easier rendering of the English language that was perfected and does not need to be changed. Another example is the use of ye and thee. This is to describe who we are speaking to. So in John chapter 3, Jesus is speaking to Nicodemus, and he says in John chapter 3 verse 7, "Marvel not that I say unto thee." Now the T is a singular and the Y is a plural. Ye must be born again, as in not just you, Nicodemus, but everyone must be born again. So that rendering, that English language that was changed, is not only, if you know a bit about maritime law, used to trick us into believing that we are corporations. We use our capital name. This has got a lot to do with the modification of the English language, but it actually changes the easy understanding that we read in the Bible. Now, God has always brought his words to the people in the most popular language of the time. Back in the Old Testament, it was when people were speaking Hebrew. He had the Tanakh in Hebrew. The Old Testament was in Hebrew. Then it was in Greek, when Alexander the Great had conquered most of the known world. But today, it is brought forth in the English language. Now, I live in South Africa. People here speak multiple languages. One that I understand is Afrikaans. And reading an Afrikaans version of the Bible pales in comparison to my King James version of the Bible. And when you look into the mathematical proofs in this Bible, you find the number of perfection all over this Bible. There is a channel called Truth is Christ on YouTube. He deals with these perfection mathematical sequences that we could have only found out today that prove that this is the Word of God. An example of one is the Elton anomaly, that 7 is a perfect number with God, right? We find 7 churches, 7 angels, 7 trumpets. You know, it's the same in Jericho in Judges 6. There are 7 priests who walk around Jericho for 7 days before they get into this promised land. You know, 7 days of the week. There are 7 is that perfect number for God. And when you count every single word in this Bible, every single word, you get 7 to the power of 7 words. That is one of the multiple examples to show you that this is that preserved Word of God. It is the most popular Bible on this planet for a reason. It is because the Most High would have done that. If God is that one who knows everything, of course he would make his word accessible. And that is what we find today, and that is what we find with the King James Version of the Bible.